An in-depth technical review on Windows versus Ubuntu.
We will start with introduction. There are a lot of different operating systems in this day and age, just to name a few: Mac OS, Unix, Ubuntu, MS-DOS, Windows, iOS, Android, Linux, GNU, and the list goes on. Linux was created by Linus Torvalds because did not want to pay for an OS. Linux was an open source license so that anyone can download the source code of Linux and modify it freely. Ubuntu is one of Linux distributions. But instead of a fragmented and unsupported community editions of Linux builds, Ubuntu is different. A small team of Debian developers were gathered to create an easy-to-use Linux OS, which is named Ubuntu. Next we would talk about Windows. In 1981, Microsoft Corporation built MS-DOS to be used as a standard OS in IBM-compatible PCs. Then Microsoft created Windows 1.0, which is the first graphical user interface which allowed DOS users to visually operate the virtual desktop. Then Windows 3.0 was released, which set the standard for the look and feel of the OS. Then, Microsoft released Windows 95 and Windows 7. Lastly, Microsoft released Windows 10 and announced that this is the last version of Windows, but users still would receive regular updates. This is an in-depth comparison of Windows and Ubuntu. Now we will compare some of the characteristics between Windows and Ubuntu. This is an example of Ubuntu user interface. This is an example of Windows user interface. This is the comparison between command line interface of Windows and Ubuntu. Pros of Ubuntu are they have a one-time updating process compared to Windows, which makes it simpler. Ubuntu is free while Windows is not free. Then, Ubuntu also uses less RAM space compared to Windows, which makes the computer smoother. Lastly, Ubuntu is more secure because it is less famous than Windows. Pros of Windows are Windows can support games while Ubuntu cannot. Windows also has a voice assistant Cortana while Ubuntu doesn't. Windows is also touchscreen optimized while Ubuntu is not. Lastly, Windows is easier to master than Ubuntu.